Well, we're here at the attic again this week, March 30th. So we talked a little bit about noise this week. We talked about how our lives are kind of crowded out. We're used to all this noise with media and the people around us and the things that, and people dropping things and stuff like that. Anyways, so lots of noise, a lot of things that distract us. And we looked at Elijah, the prophet in the Old Testament in 1 Kings, when God took him aside and set him on this mountain and said to wait for him because he's going to pass by. And then a big wind came by and shook the mountains, and rocks were falling over the place, but God wasn't in the wind. And then an earthquake came by and shook things up, but God wasn't in the earthquake. And then the fire came after that and consumed all these things, but God wasn't in the fire. And then everything was quiet. And then God's voice was heard in the silence. And we talked about how a lot of times we get all this noise around us, and we're drowned out by three things that are kind of noise in our life. One is just a busy schedule. The second might be the world and the media and the people around us. And the third would be maybe some hard times and difficult situations that we face. All those things are kind of noise that crowd out the voice of God, because God's voice is in the silence, and how the silence is kind of an awkward thing for us. But I challenged everybody to address the noise, and when we can't really get rid of it all the time, put as much away as we can, and then rise above the rest and just allow God to speak to us in the silence. When Elijah encountered God, he's probably looking for some big encounter, something huge like the wind or the earthquake or the fire, but God spoke to him in the silence. And so the challenge for you guys is to embrace God in the silence and listen to His voice. That's it. Hope to see you next week.